I love soccer. The smell of the grass, feel of your foot connecting with the ball, no one can take that away. I don't wear high heels. I use cleats. I am not a princess. I am a soccer beast.
Coming! Heads up!
Wow. Hey all, Captain Sean here with an in-depth review for the first season of Amazon's newest children's TV series, The Kicks. The series focuses on a middle school-age soccer enthusiast and player, Devin Burke, whose entire family has just moved to a new town in California. Upon arrival to a new town and a new school, Devin joins the school's struggling soccer team known as The Kicks. But through trials, tribulations, plenty of growth, and lots of teamwork, the team slowly begins to improve. Now, this setup seems pretty simple enough, but the way the series is set up, along with its good supporting characters, realistic portrayal of a young sports team, and good role model characters, makes this series no one should write off quickly. Now, the first positive thing that can be said about this series is its portrayal of young adolescents playing soccer. As an experienced director of my own sports camp, I can definitely say this series hits a lot of the things that many middle school age players struggle in when it comes to sports, complete with all of the insecurities, imperfections, and distractions that young players face while trying to improve in the game. The show even takes time to mention the little problems young players could face, such as a soccer field they play on suddenly having a gopher hole, a player suddenly realizing their current uniform doesn't fit them right, or a field not being 100% flat in one corner. It's little details like that that make the show feel more like a legitimate representation of what it's like to play sports at a young age versus just being another fictional story on TV. Another positive aspect of this series are its very realistic and relatable supporting characters, the most notable being the tough coach of the girls' soccer team. Now, in the pilot, they make it look like this one female teacher who barely understands soccer is going to be the main coach of the series. But surely after the series got picked up, the writers of the show must have realized this character couldn't realistically be somebody who could lead a troubled group of girls to a championship. So they replaced her with Coach Rivas, a former pro soccer player turned janitor. But since no one else wants to coach the girls' school soccer team, he rises out of obscurity to help turn the girls' team from losers into champions. Despite this kinda sounding corny, this guy is one of the most realistic and best sports coaches seen on TV in years. He's tough, but caring. He pushes his players very hard, but never out of anger. He doesn't tolerate nonsense, but still understands what it's like to be young. And in every scene he's in, he acts completely professional and respectful to the female players under his wing. Again, as an experienced sports camp director, I can say with certainty, this guy hits every little bullet point of what you'd want to see in a good coach that teaches young players. But it's not just the coach. The main character, Devin's family, which consists of a mother, father, and younger brother, are well presented also. And what's great about these family members is they aren't just presented as being family members. They're unique human beings with hopes, aspirations, fears, and flaws that go beyond just their connection to the main character of the series. For example, we don't just see Devin's parents in scenes being just parents, we see them dealing with work, making new adult friends their age, and dealing with flaws they start to notice in their ability to function in life. Devin's younger brother Bailey also isn't just the kid brother that annoys Devin. We get to see what his life in school is like, we see what his hobbies are, and the series does explore the emotional ramifications that come from being the younger sibling of an overachieving and award-winning older sibling. In so many other children's series, parents and siblings are either just literary appendages of the main character, or they're just character traits that speak, rather than being fully realized individuals. In this show, however, parents and siblings are presented as being just as much human beings as the main characters are. Now, the only real flaw with this series is the supporting characters are presented with much more complexity than the actual main characters themselves. Now first, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with the main characters in the show. Nearly every female soccer player that gets a good amount of screen time in the show is likable, and some of the girls actually have some pretty entertaining personality quirks. Plus, it's fun how many of the girls in the show just say whatever random thoughts come out of their head, which is something that real young people do. However, the story of growth they go through is a little too cliche and predictable. Any adult who has seen many sports movies over the years will know exactly where this series is heading, and there isn't much surprises that happen during the season-long plot. But despite there not being much enjoyment older audiences might get from watching the main characters of this series, there's probably a lot of enjoyment younger viewers may get from them. Any child who hasn't really seen a sports movie before will probably be well entertained by the season-long plot. Plus, it's obvious this series is catering to young girls, but it does it with good female characters who act as good role models in the sense that they show young girls by example it's okay to unapologetically love sports and not care at all about being some kind of princess or pop star. So for young female viewers that have any interest in sports, this is probably must-see TV for them. But for everyone else, this might be a series to put a little lower on your TV viewing queue. But I still recommend this is a show everyone should check out. The supporting characters are very interesting, plus it's kind of refreshing to watch a children's show that isn't trying to be part of some big franchise or trying to tie into some kind of popular fad or feature characters using magical powers or trying to be pop stars. This is simply a good realistic children's show trying to be a good realistic children's show. And just for that, I'd say it's worth giving this new TV series a chance.